all the way back in 2023, Shericka Jackson had the world drinking from her palm. Both athletes and fans were left stunned alike as we watched her race after race, inching closer and closer to the elusive mark that was set over 3 decades ago. We watched her as she improved. Her form was impeccable. Her speed was something to talk about. Race after race, she kept on looking to be a better version of herself until something special happened. It finally happened. Shericka Jackson dropped the second fastest 200-meter time ever recorded in the history of the sprints. For almost 3 decades, Flojo had set a mark that no one came close to. But here was Shericka Jackson showing that there was a great possibility of someone erasing that mark. Of course, that very same year, Shericka became the world champion in the 200 meters. Also, she was the silver medalist in the 100 meters. She had everyone talking, and there were great expectations of her going into the following seasons. But here is the not so nice part. Since 2024, things have taken a very bad turn for Shericka Jackson. She has been injured, she has fallen off her form, and based on what we have seen, she's struggling to get back to that level of fitness and that kind of form that we saw in the previous years. But here we are in 2025, just weeks away from this year's World Championships. And so far, Shericka has been having a very quiet season. We have seen her so far in just a little above a handful of races in 2025, and as a result of that, so many doubts have been planted in the minds of her fans and the onlookers. Yes, we have seen her recently and she's looking a lot better than what we saw in the early season, but there are so many in the track and field world right now who are wondering if Shericka will be able to find the type of form that will be required to make an impact in this year's World Championships. There are even some who are wondering if she will be in the type of form that will allow her to medal. Some people are saying that Shericka will not make the podium this year. And we are talking about not just the 200 meter podium, but the 100 meter podium. Some people in the track and field space just don't have Shericka down as a thing this year. They don't have her to medal. They don't have her to make any sort of impact. The truth is, up until this point in time, we don't know if Shericka will be doing both the 100 and 200 meters. Currently, everybody expects her to be in the 200 meters. But when it comes on to the 100 meters, we all know that it's going to be a very big ask of Shericka Jackson to do extremely well in the 100 meters as she did in the previous years. Remember now, the competition is tougher than before. Do I need to spell it out that there's a Melissa Jefferson, there is a Julian Alfred, there's still a Shakira Richardson, even though she's off her game a little bit, and of course there's a sprint goat Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. This is the type of lineup that Shericka Jackson will possibly go up against in the 2025 World Championships. And that's a very tall lineup with all of those names and everything that they can do. Of course, we know that Shericka Jackson is also a powerhouse in the 100 meters, not just the 200 meters. Shericka Jackson is very talented, and I think that even until this point in time, Shericka has not yet shown her full potential in the 100 meters. Hopefully, one day we'll be able to see that. But as things are standing, it's going to be very hard for her to make an impact in the 100 meters if she does participate in that. But let's go over to her comfort zone, the 200 meters. How could we write Shericka Jackson off in the 200 meters? How could we forget just how good of an athlete she was just a couple seasons ago? Right now she's in a rough patch, yes, but I believe that her coach, Paul Francis, under the watchful eyes of Stephen Francis, have something up his sleeve. I think that Shericka Jackson could shock some people this year. All those who are saying that she will not be medaling, I think they could be left disappointed. Because when it comes on to the 200 meters, if Shericka Jackson is 80% well and 80% confident, I see that as good enough to get the job done. So, the big question, can Shericka Jackson make a comeback this year and make an impact? Of course, I believe that she can, and I believe that she will. I definitely have her down to be on the podium in the 200 meters this year. When you look at Shericka's personal best, it's just way out of the league of everybody else. In spite of Gabby Thomas winning last year, yes, she won in the absence of Shericka Jackson, I have to say that, right? And we have Julian Alfred, who's the silver medalist. Their times are just nowhere near Shericka if Shericka can get herself together in time. It's going to be an interesting race, but I don't see Shericka going down without a fight, and I don't see her leaving Tokyo without bagging a medal. As a matter of fact, the MVP has been out of the medal contention where the ladies have been concerned since 2024, leading into this year. And I know Stephen Francis does not like that. Most of the times, MVP will always be on the podium whenever things close. And sometimes it's not just a single athlete that the MVP has on the podium. Of course, things have changed, the dynamics have changed. So many other persons are running well right now, so we definitely cannot outrightly say that yes, this is a gold for Shericka Jackson, or yes, this is a silver. I believe she can make it on the podium, and I believe that she still has what it takes to come home with a gold medal. It's going to be a huge task, but of course sometimes these challenges forces the best out of our athletes. What if this year is the year that Shericka finally breaks the 200-meter world record that she has been hunting for since 2023? Possibly could. Do you remember what took place in the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021? When Elaine did not do well all season long. She almost did not qualify for the Olympic Games. She was beaten by Shericka and Shellyan. And we saw what transpired in Tokyo. When the 100 meter and the 200 meters were ended, Elaine Thompson ran the fastest time she has ever gone in her entire career. And that was when people were writing her off. They thought that she would not have made any impact at the Olympic Games in 2021, which was the Tokyo Olympic Games. And we saw her running the best times of her lives in Tokyo and also at the Nike Prefontaine Classic. We could see a repeat of this with Shericka Jackson because of course she's been coached by one of the best. So don't write off Shericka Jackson just yet. She has enough in the tank to bounce back and to do some great stuff. So let's see what happens in Tokyo. If you have watched the video till this point in time, head over into the comment section and let's hear what you have to say on this topic.